Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's going well. And welcome everybody from a hot Montreal, Quebec, Canada, where the temperature is about 90 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius, 35 according to my weather station. So it's hot summer-like weather that we are having over here. So this is summer, and I'm happy to be here in the air-conditioned room rather than outside. So welcome aboard. This is the Shortwave Radio Show Friday edition. We are here twice a week on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, at 5 p.m. Pacific. That's 0000 UTC. So for most of the world, it's actually Thursday. And we are live on Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, 20 hours Universal Time. And we are here to entertain. My name is Gilles, and I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, northeast part of North America. And we listen to shortwave, look at everything radio, and just have fun with a bunch of great people that pretty much share the same passion of radio listening, DXing, and it's a lot of fun, of course. We'll be tuning some signals. Actually, I'm going to tune the next number station for now, M12, the Russian number station. M12 is going to be on in 7 minutes. 14817 CW, or Morse code 14817, or a little trick if you want, 14816 upper sideband. And that is the Morse code station out of Moscow, Russia, for the number stations that's coming up. So glad to be here. And of course, we will talk about radio today. Tune the bands. I thought we'd tune a little more today. Maybe check out the different international broadcast bands, see what stations are on and what we can hear. And we'll check that out. Of course, if you got any questions, and everybody here is, great and having a lot of fun with radio. So sit down, relax, have your favorite drink. I've got my vodka and cranberry juice. Cheers. And just enjoy another evening or day or morning, depending on where you are, of radio listening with all of us. There's a fantastic chat room with people that just have a great time enjoying the live shows. You can join in. All you need is to have a Gmail account. Once you got a Gmail account, you can chat with everybody. And we've got tons of moderators to keep away the bad guys. And of course, when all of this is over, one of the things that we also have is an amazing Facebook group. And when I say amazing, I think it is, I think I can safely say that it's one of the best Facebook groups around for radio for a very simple reason. One of the things that happens so often in groups is that it's difficult to maintain a certain quality of a group, if we can say it like this. Right now, we're at 1,039 members, and this group is fun because people respect each other and just have one common goal. It's to simply have fun sharing their passion of radio with everybody else. So what's cool is that when we are live, we're all together. We're all doing this together, and it's a lot of fun. But when the show ends, there's a Facebook group to turn to, where you guys can still continue interacting and sharing. So the group is Official SWL Channel on Facebook. Same name as the channel here. I'm sharing the link right now. And so why not join? Please answer the radio questions. Is very important. Also, if you are just joining and create a Facebook page an hour ago or 1 day ago in order to join, we're not going to accept you. We don't accept people that the Facebook profile has been done just a few hours before to prevent trolling, except that if you actually write to official shortwave radio at gmail.com, official shortwave radio at gmail.com. And if you tell me, well, I resisted, but now I created a Facebook profile just to be in the group. This is me, and you know me by this or that name in the chat room and so on. Then I will be happy to give you that privilege. But I need to know who you are. If you created a Facebook group on a Facebook page only in the last week or two, to make sure that we don't have trollers and bad, idiots that try to make the group bad. But it's a really amazing group, and right now at 1,039 users, so it's kind of fun. And I like seeing all the sharing of everybody and everybody's opinion on everything, and everybody sharing their own, what they have, the radios, the videos, and what they're listening to. I share videos from time to time. I often share what I'm listening to or something that I want to hear. So lots of fun on that for sure. This coming Sunday is a special day, by the way. It is the BBC Antarctic broadcast, Midwinter broadcast. It's a 30-minute broadcast for anyone, all the researchers and the people in the Antarctic base. So this is coming up this Sunday at 21:30 Universal Time. So that is something to listen to. So the Midwinter 2020 broadcast is, I'm going to give you, there's 4 frequencies that are used. It's 21:30 to 22 hours Universal Time. And it is going to be on at least 3 of the 4 frequencies that I'm going to give you. So 5790, that's out of Wolverton in the UK. 6170, that's from Ascension Islands transmitter site in the South Atlantic Ocean. 7360 from Wolverton, UK. And 9580 from Ascension Islands. They are powerful transmissions, 200 to 300 kilowatts. And like I said, it lasts 30 minutes from 21:30 to 22 UTC. So if you don't hear it, because it might be a little tough to hear this one in North America. If you don't hear it, you can use online SDRs for that purpose. And we, of course, will be monitoring that. And I'm not promising I'll be here, but maybe I'll exceptionally do a live show on Sunday so we can listen together and see who can receive it. I know last year I think I did a special show for that, so maybe we can do. I'll check that out for Sunday and keep you guys posted on that. So 5790, 6170, 7360, and 9580. And by the way, the number station on Morse code, I can hear it in the background here. 14816 817 CW, 14817 CW, 14816 upper sideband, I'm hearing the Morse code route that just started right now. From that's the number station from Moscow, Russia, and in 20 minutes there's going to be another one. We'll be looking and chasing pirates also today at the same time. We'll see what's available to listen to. Tom the Xer, nice to have you on board from Lower Hudson Valley, New York. Bobby Burgess in Louisiana, USA, WA5107 SWL. Shady Pyro 90, nice to have you here. James Farley from Old Bridge, New Jersey, nice to have you on board. Shady Pyro 90 is from Courtenay, BC, British Columbia. WOHP 1390, hey Rick, W8PRR in Ohio. Steve Miller, nice to have you on board. What else do we have? Ecadarius, nice to have you on board. And pretty cool to have all of you here. Connie Charbonnier, nice to have you on board from the Netherlands. Jeff Williams, nice to have you from Cornwall, UK. Yes, I did put the wrong date on the video. What happened is I was finalizing the editing of the International Radio Report Show for Sunday. And because Sunday is the 21st, I had that date in my head now that it was Sunday the 21st. So when I posted the link to the show, I noticed too late that I had the wrong date. And to fix that, you can't, I can't just go and erase the date, and it doesn't work like that. It's super complicated the way it's done, because it's kind of recorded. So I would have had to, remove the link and the video posting and start it over again. And since I had posted the link everywhere, I thought, the hell with it, it's going to stay like that. So yes, it's for today, June 19th. Mark Cancelada, nice to have you here. Carl Womble, nice to have you on board. Artistic Crafter's Kitchen from Massachusetts did his errands today, so you can join live. Cool. Billy Conlon, nice to have you on board. Randall Klontz, nice to have you here. Dijan, nice to have you on board from Bavaria, Germany. All right, Randall is from Chicagoland. Let's go down here. Erica Trell, nice to have you on board. Says got things set up so you can tune around HF on his loop antenna while the show's going on. That is perfect. Radioactive, nice to have you on board. 45 unit. Says rain and thunderstorms, 78 degrees in Florida. It's actually warmer here. What is your opinion and tips for shortwave listening while traveling in a car? I got lots of input from members of the channel via Facebook. The best is because in the car itself, it's not always the best situation. And today's cars with the computers and everything often induce a lot of noise. I think the best thing to do is bring along a portable radio and use that and see what you can get. But I don't know. I saw that post and I saw a lot of people interacting. But while driving, it's kind of a complicated thing. And while driving, you can't fiddle around with the shortwave radio. So I would bring a portable radio, and that's it. And at least you'll have it wherever you go on your road trip, and you stop at different places. You stop somewhere, do a little bit DXing, and then continue your journey. Joe Tyson, nice to have you on board from North Carolina. Esteban from the Canary Islands, nice to have you here. Crandon Tuttle 4, KJ7NUX in Oregon. Jack 2112, nice to have you on board. N9IIF in Illinois, nice to have you here, my friend. PLF Radio, bonjour et bienvenue de la France. C'est toujours un plaisir de nous avoir parmi nous. Aiden Saylor, nice to have you here, Aiden, from Greenville, North Carolina. David KJ4CMY from Central Georgia. And it's colder in Georgia than in Montreal. BKS9900, nice to have you on board from Romania. Glenn, nice to have you here. G. Britton from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Ron C., nice to have you on board, Ron. Joe Rutman, nice to have you on board from hot and sunny Chicago. Tom DXer, no, I did not, for many reasons. First, I woke up on, so what happened is I woke up on Monday with a backache, and I have decided to take it easy, and then I had a lot more videos and a lot more things to talk about this week than I had before. There's a lot of things that happened with Microsoft and insiders and stuff. So I finally got into a moment where I had a lot of things to do and just didn't have the time. So I'm hoping to fix that next week. From the weather that I see, it's supposed to be raining almost every day. So maybe next week is not going to be the best of times, but I'm going to try to do something with that. Eric Cottrell worked for hours to pronounce my name correctly. Daxflower74, nice to have you on board from Germany. Alejandro Navarro, buenas noches, ¿cómo está mi amigo? From Spain. John Pickney, nice to have you on board from stormy Oak Hill, Virginia, W3XWT. Alejandro says we are almost in summertime celebrating good weather. Absolutely. Brian Penny, nice to have you here from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Jay Watterson, 69, nice to have you on board. Paul the cat is somewhere outside and probably hiding in the bushes. I don't know. Well, he's an outdoor cat a lot, so he likes to be outdoors. But I've always find it funny that he'd rather be outside in the heat than inside in the air conditioning. But it's just, he likes to be outside. Eric Cottrell, no CHU on 14 megahertz today. I was so amazed yesterday. When you posted it, I thought I'm going to try it. But I was thinking, man, I'm not going to get that. I never get that. And when I saw how good the signal was, it's the first time ever in 38 years of shortwave listening that CHU, I've heard very weak CHU in the background sometimes on that frequency, 14670, but I have never received it that strong. It was very, very special, but it didn't last very long. It lasted 20 minutes? After about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, it faded away quite fast. But man, I never received CHU so well. Never received CHU so well. Pretty crazy. By the way, I'm just going to go here. While I continue in the chat, if you guys want to prepare at 20:30 UT, in 11 minutes time, 13417, in case of traffic, I think there won't be anything, because what I noticed is that the broadcast in Morse code that we just heard was very short, so probably there won't be anything to listen to. John Pickney, nice to have you here, says hit the like button. Rufus Newt, nice to have you here. Rufus from hot Laurentian Valley, Ontario. Keegan, X880Xer, nice to have you here from Northwest Arkansas, 88 Fahrenheit and sunny. Hey, Zachary Owens from Virginia. Max Edstrong, nice to have you here from Michigan, USA. Dijon says, I actually plan to drink a nice and cool beer today, but my stomach has decided to feel sick. So, just take it easy. Take it easy. Whatever you guys drink, it's all right. Tea, coffee, water, soda. What else do we have? Degen says, now I'm laying in bed and having my laptop with me in the bed plugged to the RSP1A. Cool. Eric Cottrell is hearing CW from Russia. Cool. Justin Schultz. Nice to have you here, Justin. I bought a Texan PL600 based on one of your videos, and I haven't been able to tune anything shortwave. Yeah, probably because you have... There's a lot of little rules that you got to obey. First, you've got to follow the rules of time, depending on the time. Where are you located, Justin? Just out of curiosity. So, depending on the time of day is important. There are more stations usually around late afternoon and local evenings to listen to. The other thing that I think is probably the number one problem for most people with a portable radio is that inside your home, you probably have too much noise. And what that does is that it washes out the signal. So the signals are there, but it's just impossible to tune anything because the noise is too high. I think that is probably your number one problem. Go to a park with the radio or anywhere that's a little further away from the houses, and you'll see that it's going to magically come to life suddenly. You can try to put a little piece of wire outside your window or something if to see if something comes in. Sarah Mason, nice to have you here from Colorado. Thank you very much for the nice comments. Ulysses Chevalier, nice to have you here. Ulysses from Cordoba, Argentina. I hope everything is all right, my friend. What else do we have? We'll try to go down a little faster. We have Jean-François Trudel. Bonjour et bienvenue de Saint-Hubert. VE2 WMJ. Nice to have you on board. Ryan, yes, we have a time machine. No, I did not get the elderly radio yet. It was shipped from China on Wednesday morning, I think, or Tuesday morning. So, I mean, it's coming from China, so I don't expect that for a few weeks. I have still at least 3 or 4 little things from China that I've been more than 2 months and still haven't received. We still have huge disruption in the shipping from China and shipping worldwide because, I mean, there's stuff that I don't know. You go to the tracking and the tracking stops at one point and it's like nothing else has happened and it's been there and it's been like that for weeks. It sure isn't the same shipping speed that we had before COVID-19. I can tell you that. I mean, last year we would, buy something from China, and apart from a few very long delays, most of the stuff was here in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But now I'm waiting for some light bulbs because I want to replace the ICOM with some specific light bulbs. I am waiting for a little portable radio that is a wideband receiver. I'm waiting for even, from Europe. I'm waiting for a cartridge that is for my Commodore computer that has games on it. And it's shipped something like 3 weeks ago, and I still don't have it. So, the shipping is not the same right now around the world. I can tell you that. What else do we have? Yeah, well, instead of a Polestar, I would recommend, because, I don't recommend people, especially when you have a portable radio, purchase something that is expensive. Indoor, maybe an MLA30 would do the job, but it's a tough one. Sheldon Harvey, nice to have you on board from Greenfield Park, Quebec. KG Walden, nice to have you here from the Netherlands, watching with his Sony ICF 2001D, or also known as the ICF 2010. Old Radio Man, nice to have you here listening while washing dishes in Northeast Tennessee. I'm in the doghouse with the little woman. Rodolfo 65, nice to have you here from New York City. John Pickney, I had my first experience with an all-digital AM during a thunderstorm with WWFD 830, Frederick, Maryland, and no static crashes, but full quiet muting instead. Yeah, because digital doesn't, you won't hear a static crash, or you won't hear hiss or static, but you will have a signal that mutes when there's static because the digital signal is not getting in, and then it will restart again. That's the and it's the same for like digital in a car. Listening to digital radio in your car, you'll have in and outs of signals. You won't have, like a regular AM signal. You will have it go weaker, but you still hear and listen to the program most of the time. But a digital signal, it just stops, and when the signal gets better, it continues again. So it's very different. Max at Strong. What else do we have? Kevin Jane Apollo, nice to have you on board from Point Beach, New Jersey, WS2H. Brent, nice to have you on board from Brockville, Ontario, Canada. William Helms, nice to have you on board, my friend from Florida. Hunter's Auto Crafter's Kitchen says, here's a thought about shortwave reception from the car. How about running an MLA30 antenna? Very easy to power up via USB power. Some PVC mount on the car roof would look cool. I imagine going, you're on the highway and you see this guy going with a MLA30 loop on the top of his car. that, and I can imagine the thin metal wire around the loop whistling with the high winds of the while he's on the highway. Oh man. So Bobby has shared a link for car radios that has shortwave. Eric Cottrell, Russian CW number station did not stay on too long. No, they have no traffic, and I would guess that in a couple of minutes, 13417 will probably have no traffic. G. Lee, nice to have you on board from Fresno, California, WA6120 SWL. Max Estron, after years of use of and outdoor abuse, my ailing CC Pocket radio died yesterday, but miraculously came back to life today. A radio miracle. Radioactive, I have a wideband thumping on in around 13417. What you might have around there is Kodar. I know that there's some Kodar around 13500, 13400. Maybe you could have something like that. John Pickney, I've tried shortwave listening with my ham rigs and assorted car roof antennas. Mixed results. Tough enough hamming on HF while mobile. Max Setstrong, vodka and cranberry, you guys have me hooked. Tristan, nice to have you here from Newfoundland. Koroama Nikolai, nice to have you here, my friend. Nice to have you on board. What else do we have? Roger Schultz, KE4BFJ, nice to have you on board. And yeah, Windows. What else do we have? Rig Satter. It's the 21st today. You guys got it wrong. I know. I was still in my head in the International Radar Report recording because I put the date for Sunday, June 21st. And when I posted the link, for some reason, my brain was still in June 21st. The important thing is that everybody's here. Dijon stayed up listening to the radio very late yesterday and had to get up very early this morning. Was so tired I fell asleep on the bus back home from school. Oh man. Yeah, that's the possibility, Tom DX. The new radio is elderly, so it will take some time to come here. It might actually even tune slowly, the shortwave bands. I'm still laughing when I saw the post of, oh, this is a great elderly radio. What? I'd be curious to see what age the seller is on that eBay page. Yeah, he's 19 years old, selling all sorts of junk on eBay. And, well, this is an elderly radio. We also have elderly smartphones, which are the flip phones. Oh, man. Max says strong supply chain issues can take months to rear their ugly heads. So, yeah, I think we're going to be stuck with wobbly shipping for a while. Esteban, with respect to listening to radio inside home, I've discovered that in FM directive antenna, 3 Yagi Uda elements I have on the roof is wonderful for receiving shortwave. You know, everything is interesting. That's the fun part of radio. Also, is testing out different things. You guys should have seen probably the funniest things you would have ever seen with a neighbor listening to shortwave when I was a teenager. I remember putting a very long telescopic horizontal, and with a little motor, I would actually rotate. But it was not a real rotor, and it was the way that the antenna is that if I rotated in one direction, I had to remember to rotate in the other direction because the wire was actually winding around the pole. If I didn't, so I remember one day I forgot, and it just rotated, and I heard a snap, and it was the wire that snapped because it was too tight because I had forgot that I had to rotate the other way around. You know, teenage experiments. That's pretty much what they're called. Crittenden Total Force says, you're right about shipping. I ordered a mini from Russia back in April, and it's still at the post office. So, you know, it's crazy. It's really crazy. What else do we have? Yes, Kororama Nikolai, if you have metal roof, if you have concrete walls, if you have anything that is dense and anything that has metal in some way, influences totally reception. There are people that live in inside, you know, condos, concrete walls and everything, and the reception indoors is very, very low. You've got to that totally influences. Remember that to receive a signal, the antenna is a metal object. That's why it actually works, because that signal, what happens when the signal hits the antenna, it is transferred to this into an electric it's an electric current that goes down here. What the radio receives is that wave transform into some electric current, a very, very weak one. And that means anything metal around this or anything metal around where you are will impact the signals. So on shortwave, because depending on the frequency where you are, even non-metal objects can actually impact the waves. To give you an idea, if you listen to frequencies very high in the gigahertz range, Actually, just a sheet of paper can technically be enough to block a 5 gigahertz signal or 6 or 10 gigahertz signal. The higher in frequency, the easier it is for anything to just block a signal. But on shortwave frequencies, the impact of a wood house, bricks, stuff like that doesn't attenuate signals much. There might be some attenuation, but it's not much. It is really metal that is something to think about. You know what? Somebody sent me an email a couple of weeks back, and he was talking about, he set up an MLA30 and it wasn't working. And I asked a few questions of how he set it up and everything. And that's where we noticed that his MLA30 loop was too close to the metal rail or guard of his balcony. And there was a total interaction between the metal rail and the loop itself. So I told him, I said, you need to put it up a few feet higher. Try to put it at least a meter from the rail. Because the way he had set it up, it was very close. It was like, an inch or two from the rail. It was maybe, 5 centimeters from the rail. So I told him, I said, put it on something to make it higher. And I gave him my idea of, you can use a wooden or a plastic broomstick, which will be enough. And he came back to me and he had put it on a wooden broomstick. And now it was, about 3 feet, 3.5 feet, a meter from the rail. And he said he immediately saw a huge difference in reception. Metal does a lot of interaction with radio signals. Ryan says, surprised at all the international broadcasts coming from Okeechobee. I'm happy that WRMI exists with the Okeechobee transmitter site, because shortwave in North America would be darn quiet in the evening if they didn't have those transmitters and those relays. Ryan used my MLA30 yesterday evening for the first time as the sun went down. The waterfall display was full of lines. Was crazy cool. It is a great antenna. D-Gen says, I adjusted my wire so that the neighbor can complain that his tree grows in the wrong direction. It's actually a bit higher now, and that improved reception quite a bit. Yeah, because if you moved it higher, you might actually have been moving it out of the noise. Honestly, if I could put a 150 feet wire 100 feet high, I would probably have really good reception, because I would be really moving away from all the noise that's here. I was looking at my sloper the other day, because I use it. I'm happy to still have it out there, because I clip it to the telescopics of my portables when I'm in the backyard, and it improves enough reception that it actually makes my portables pretty good on shortwave in general. But I mean, you look at it and it's right there, and each side has apartments, so it's kind of in the middle of apartments, in the backyard, and all of that. And like I said a few times, I suspect that the Bell Canada wires actually create noise. And I was looking at it and I was like, yeah, place like that, no wonder, of course it has a lot of noise. It's stuck in between apartments and all the people around here. Current total 4 for automobile-based shortwave. Maybe an AirSpy HF Plus and a U-loop antenna. Needs no power. I have that combo as a travel shortwave setup, and it works pretty well. So, there's a lot of stuff that can be tried. Current total 4 says, doesn't beat the MLA30 and RSPDX, but for mobile, it's fun setup. So cool. You know, we got tons and tons of ideas to try here. Mike Thornton, nice to have you here. WC0L in Kansas. René Charbonnier, can you receive the Japanese slot machine 8588? Maybe not at this time. I don't think I've ever received it, honestly. I don't think I've ever heard it. Is it on 24 hours? Let me just check. I think it's in the EIBI schedules here. EIBI schedules. 8588. It's not in the schedules there. 87. But I've never anything that is a Asian number station or any Asian, pretty much most Asian signals of that type, including the Japanese slot machine. Never been able to hear, but maybe one of the things, I have to be fair here, and I need to kick my butt and get up one morning at like 6 or 7 a.m. instead of 9 or 9:30 a.m. like I do, and check out some of the signals, because that's probably one of the best times to get Asian signals here. The only Asian number station I've ever received, and it's because of I was listening to Radio New Zealand on 15, when Radio New Zealand used to use 15720 in the evening. Many years ago, I had noticed there was some carrier at some point just before 0400. And I wonder what it was, and I had noticed after a while, one night it was strong enough that it was a Russian number station. That is every night at 0400 on 15721, just 1 kilohertz higher. So that's pretty much the only time I've heard a Asian weird signal, basically. Eric Cottrell says the elderly radio is likely walking to Canada. It's walking with a cane. I should have it by next year. John Pickney says, is Yacht Boy 300P arrived yesterday? Dead on arrival. Oh, really? Going to leave here earlier than usual today. And try a new set of batteries before I condemn it. Did the seller say it was working? Sad. That's always a bummer. If it's totally dead, you should just check the battery compartment for the connections. Sometimes it's, when it's totally dead, it's often, not always, but it's often a easy fix. It's often just a little thing. It's easier than okay, there's a fly. It's often easier than, a weird working radio. But it could be impossible also. It could be like really dead. Tristan, the last week or so I have been getting a lot of bleed into shortwave from the AM band. Could this be my radio? Do you live close to a lot of AM stations, Tristan? Because if the signals are really, really strong, it could happen. It could happen. You might have bleed through. In some conditions, especially if you use something else, if you use more than just the telescopic, if you use a long wire, that could be a problem for a lot of portable radios, actually, that when it's too strong. D-John's got a strong pirate on 6283. Rodrigo Galter, nice to have you here, my friend from Brazil. Listening with his Texan PL 660. But there's other crafters. I had 2 more people today ask me about the MLA30 installation and say theirs was introducing noise. I still don't get it. You know what? Like I said, it's so often it's not a miracle antenna, and it doesn't. it doesn't remove the noise totally. It might help you get the signals out of the noise, but it doesn't. It's not a miracle antenna. I'm always intrigued when somebody says, "Well, I got an MLA30 and it doesn't work." Because when I hear that, I'd like to see the setup. Honestly, I would like to see how did you set it up, because I'm curious. I also would like to see how you can how you power it, because one of the things that could be a problem for the MLA30 is if you power it from a PC or from a bad switching power supply, it could have a lot of noise. So, but I am curious. When somebody says it doesn't work, I'm very curious. Rufus Newt says XH data D808 took a little over 2 months. Wow. Eyebrawler, nice to have you here from Michigan. DGen got his XH data shipped from Amazon, Germany, 2 days. When my XH data, I got it last year, so it was before COVID. But it took a week and a half or something like that. Esteban says, now watching the 3rd season of Stranger Things, and Dustin was listening to a radio and catch a Russian coded transmission. It remembered me the number stations and the Spanish lady. It's when I saw season 1 and I saw the TRC walkie-talkies that I have here, and it's like, wow, I've got the Stranger Things talkies. David in Barcelona, nice to have you here. EA3IEK Raptor 22 Stealth. Degen says, when I came to adjust my wire antenna, there was actually an old couple sitting on the patio facing to the backyard, and I carried a large ladder with me. Oh man, they asked me what I was doing with the ladder. Just said hello, smiled, and went on. Oh man. Barry Steinholtz, nice to have you here, Barry, from Palm Beach, Florida. Lee Burkett, nice to have you on board, my friend, in the UK. We have variable weather conditions in UK, but I've still been out and about with the Texan receiver. I always like your pictures and videos. It's always nice to see you having fun. You are the representation of what having fun with a portable shortwave radio is all about. Eric Cottrell, BBC World Service to Central and West Africa, 12095 Port of Fair. Let's check it out here. 12095. Yeah, not a lot of signal here, huh? I'll check. 11810 is coming in well. Yeah, 11810 isn't too bad. Try that one, Eric. Is it from? Where's 11810 from right now? So we're at 2049. It's from Wolferton in the UK. So try 11810. It's not that bad. I have a lot of noise today. I have more noise than usual. Something is creating noise. Could be all the air conditioning going on. Legion says, sometimes I wonder how people say they have nothing to listen to, but I forget that I actually can hear a lot more here in Europe. And because I can speak German, English, and also not bad of a French. So, you got to understand one thing in Europe is that you have more things to listen to in Europe than here in North America. And what I mean that is of decent signals, of decent signal strength. That's the first thing. I understand a little bit what you're saying, because I sometimes forget that, when somebody said, well, I don't hear anything, and I think about it, and it's like, well, I listen to that and that and that and that. But if I start thinking about it, I suddenly notice that half of what I listened to was actually French language transmissions. So Gonzalo Galado, nice to have you here. Where are you from? Koroama Nikolai, it's not stupid at all. Try it. Having a do your own wire antenna between your house roof and yeah, absolutely. Try it. Try it. Joseph Eckenbaum. Nope, never heard it here in Montreal. I need to, you guys on the West Coast have the Asian signals a lot better than here on the East Coast. And the other way around, we get the European ones much easier than you guys. So but I've never received it here. I know what it is, and I've heard it on an SDR and stuff like that. But with my radio here, never. Tony Turtle, nice to have you here from Michigan. Ryan says, here in Florida, I get really excited when I hear something that isn't English, Spanish. Mad Radio DXer, nice to have you here. Good evening from the UK. Jim and Robert Milligan. Last year, I caught a pretty strong signal last of the slot machine about 8:30 a.m. Mountain Central Time in Alberta, Canada. Cool. My best bet would be in the morning. Try it out in the morning. Legion says, I think Europe is actually a very good shortwave area because we are basically in between America, Asia, and also Africa. So we get basically signals from nearly everywhere. It is a good place. And, a lot of the transmissions for Africa are broadcast. So, for example, Ascension Islands, when you look at a map, Ascension Islands is in the Atlantic Ocean. Below that, when you look at Africa, it has that part on the upper left of the continent that on the map. And, of course, that's West Africa. And a lot of the transmissions from Ascension Islands, for example, are towards West Africa. If you look at that line, when Ascension Islands broadcasts, it actually is sending a signal to Europe. Because if you continue the line, it's Europe. That's just, above Africa. Same for Madagascar relay. When the Madagascar relay, or even VOA with its Botswana and Sao Tome, when they broadcast to West Africa, North Africa, East Africa, it's often a shot that goes pretty much through Europe also. So you guys have it easier than us in North America. That's for sure. I have tuned many SDRs online that are in Northern Europe. One that I tune a lot is the one in Sweden. And I'm always amazed at all the signals that get there and how good they are received. Kevin Jane Apollo received a QSL card from WHRI. It was dated February 22nd, 2020. Picture of a Grundig Yachtboy 400 PE. Nice looking little radio. I had a Grundig Yachtboy 400 long time ago. Wish I still had it. I should never have sold it to my uncle. My uncle purchased it for, I don't remember how much I sold him, but he wanted to have one. My uncle did not have a shortwave radio at the time, and he wanted to have one. And when he died, it crossed my mind that I maybe could ask if I could have the radio, but it's kind of a delicate situation here. Yeah, now that my uncle died, can I have my radio back? I don't think it's a proper thing to do. Vianney Arsenault, salut, bienvenue de la Gaspésie. Nice to have you on board from eastern part of the province of Quebec, Canada. René Charbonnier says, here in the Netherlands, I can receive the slot machine from Japan. Well, I post a video of it on Facebook soon. Cool. We want to see that. Bill, Nice to have you here. Mark Rodrigado, nice to have you here. Where are you located, Mark? Andy Colley, nice to have you on board. Ron Hicks, greetings, KM4LDI. Frank Ireland, what is Last of the Slot Machine? Joseph Newhouse, nice to have you here from Brazil. Slot Machine is kind of a weird number station, if we want. Tristan says there are only 2 or 3 AM stations in my area. They don't usually give me a problem. I will adjust the length of my wire antenna and see what happens. Because remember one thing, is that when you put a wire outdoors, that wire amplifies those AM signals a lot. So it could overload. Remember that portable receivers are not designed to have super long antennas on them. Shelly, nice to have you on board from Pennsylvania. Artist Auto Crafter's Kitchen. I think the power source of the MLA30 is the key, but mine works so darn well, I can't imagine someone else not working well. You're right, not a miracle antenna, but working miracles for me. Yeah. Yeah. Eric Cottrell, 11810 coming in better. Brian, do you have a Texan PL360? I got the, what is the PL365, which is the one with single sideband, but I got it with the name of the CountyCom, the U.S. company. But it's the same radio, but it's a Texan PL365. What else do we have? PLF radio has 11810 strong. Well, Mark, if you want to have more subscribers, the first thing to do is to not troll a channel and ask for subscribers. The second thing is to just do good content and continue and be regular at it. There's no miracle of getting more subscribers. Let's just check out. I think there's number stations coming up. Yep. In 3 minutes, guys. XPA2, the number station from Russia. 13462. 13462 upper sideband. That is the digital polytone one. And you also have M12, the Morse code number station out of Moscow, Russia, on 11144 CW or 11143 upper sideband. And we'll check it out. So 11144 Morse code, 13462 is the digital XPA2. And of course, there's HM01 from Cuba on 11635. S06, but here in North America, 7315 is not going to make it. It's still too early, I think. Gorama Nikolai, question for everyone. Is there an alternative to XH Data D808 in the same price range and same features but without soft muting? You'll have to go to a general PLL receiver like the Texan PL660, for example. Something like that. That doesn't have muting. The radios that have muting are all the ones that are DSP. Eric Cottrell, Radio Romania, 11850, strong signal. Justin Mass, nice to have you here, Justin. Always a pleasure to have you on board from Minnesota. John McClure, nice to have you here. David, KJ4CMY. We have a lot of Spanish stations here in central Georgia, too. Here, the AM band is getting very multilingual, I can tell you that. It's pretty crazy in Montreal. Radioactive, I like the shortwave schedule Excel spreadsheet. They have a separate English list. Oh, cool. Here we go. We hear it. Russian polytone number station on 13462. It just signed on. And it's not as strong, but I'm hearing 11144 Morse code station. But the XPA2 one on 13462 is really good. So that's a Russian spy number station out of Moscow, Russia. MA 9455, Texan S 2000, 50-foot copper in the backyard with porcelain insulators, coaxial copper. I know I still need to connect the earth ground to the spike. Hopefully I will get some. Nice to have you here. James de Calais, bonjour et bienvenue de la France. Nice to have you on board. And yep, it is the fifth. Yeah, absolutely. We are in the week of the 5th anniversary of Paul the Cat being here. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I bet Jim and Robert Milligan in the early morning, China radio. PLF radio, are there areas in the world where shortwave international broadcasts are nearly impossible to receive? If you live in a quiet environment, I think you can hear a lot of stuff, but everywhere. But the problem is, if you live in a regular noisy environment, there's not a lot of broadcasts to Australia, for example, and that always been a complaint of Australia, where signals tend to be weaker. Even here in North America, the west coast of North America, they often complain of less signals than the east coast, although they do receive Asia quite well. South America, there are some broadcasts to South America, but I think the Americas are there's not that many stations that broadcast to North America, so it isn't as as good as Europe, for example, and of course, if you listen to any SDR in Asia, you'll notice that in Asia there's so many stations. So isn't a place where it's impossible, but there are places that are less favorable for it, like Australia, for example. So take care, John Pigney. Chips Films TV, nice to have you here. From Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So nice to have you here, John McClure. Tristan, people here are from all over the world. Absolutely. This is a truly international audience. Jim and Robert Milligan's got Channel 6, 27025 CB pretty active the past few days. I've heard a lot of activity there, 10 meters, 28 megahertz, even 6 meters. Really a lot of stuff happening. Legion says, turn to storming again, unplug the wire antenna. I don't think number stations QSL. I can tell you that. Zero X4D. Well, you know what? There's a very simple reason for this, because at first you might think that modern technology replaces number stations, but you know what? Anybody that is pretty tech savvy knows that even if you take precautions, it's always possible to track anything coming out of the internet and find its path and where it comes from. Think about shortwave radio. You don't need a computer. You can be using a very small, cheap, portable radio. You could be anywhere. I mean, in the middle of a forest where there's no internet connection, and get that signal and know what it means. I mean, anyone receiving that on the internet could be technically tracked down. Anyone that is listening to a shortwave signal. We don't know who you are, where you are. We have no idea. You could be in the middle of a field somewhere. Nobody will ever know. So it's truly anonymous. We might know where that comes from, near Moscow, Russia. We have no idea who's receiving it and where he is. You, OSP, Conicom, great job. So I like my Conicom GP5. I like the ETM, easy tuning mode. And they have amazing flashlights. When they send me the Conicom, they send me some of their lights, and they're amazing, and they're so bright, they're crazy bright. Billy Conlon, can I send CW? No. Eric Cottrell says hearing Radio Nacional Amazona in Brazil in 11780. Let's check it out. 11780. Yeah, not too bad a reception. I really have more noise today than usual. Trond, nice to have you on board. Carl Trond from Norway. The NSNO get 13462. Ian, what is the utility station on 662440? Single CW tone, 1 to 25 seconds apart on now. First heard, you mean 6624.40. So I don't hear anything here probably on that frequency right now. 6624. But 6624. Let me just see here if we have because what you are in that frequency range, 6624, is it different tones when you listen to it? Do you hear different tones? Like different types of tones? If that's what you are hearing, it's you're actually hearing, because that's smack in the middle of the aeronautical band. So you might be hearing some aeronautical communications, and that's might be what you're hearing. If it's different tones when you listen to it. And the fact that they're not always at the same time is it depends on, if there's a transmission or not. If that's what you're hearing, it's called cell call or selective calling. And the tones are meant to turn on the radio in the airplane when they have to talk to a specific plane on the aeronautical band. No problem, Mark. Radioactive is hearing Moscow station over Kodar on 13462. PLF radio has 11144 CW strong. Frederick Rurup, nice to have you here, Frederick, from Long Island, New York. 6662.44. So 6662 is also, and it's also in the aeronautical band. I'm suspecting you're listening to some cell call. PLF radio says 13462 strong. Joe Sumda in US says here almost only religious shortwave broadcasts. Well, depending on the times of day here in North America, there's a lot of just religious stuff. I get that email from time to time of somebody saying, I bought a shortwave radio and all I hear is Jesus stations or religious broadcasts. Yeah, there's a lot of those, that's for sure. Mark Cancelada says our 11144, I would guess, is loud and strong. Mr. Licky Train, nice to have you on board. Has anybody heard if the Texan PL 880 is being discontinued? I'm asking because Amazon currently lists it as unavailable and stating they don't know when or even if they'll be back in stock. You know what? I would say that it might not, because I don't know, but I would say that it might not be discontinued. But what's happening is it might be in, there might be a disruption in the supply chain because of COVID-19. So maybe they stopped making them over there in China because of everything shut down for a while. It could be that Amazon just did not receive, or whoever sells them on Amazon has not received any of them. We were talking earlier about how I have tons of things from China that I'm still waiting for them. So I think there's a big disruption right now in the supply chain. Billy Conlon says he's got Hogarden at 4.9%. Pretty cool. I've seen that one at the store. Never tried it. Dejan says, right to Vladimir Putin. No problem. Shutting down. No, radioactive. It's not an MFSK thing. It is an MFSK and it is multi-frequency shift keying, but it's called Polytone. There's a software called Rivet, R-I-V-E-T. I'll put the name here, R-I-V-E-T. That software, if you have a good enough signal, will give you the five group, the five number groups that are being sent on the Polytone. You can actually decode the five number groups and stuff with Rivet, R-I-V-E-T. Jerry DX, nice to have you here. Lee Burkett, Jill, can you remember the old Grandstand video game? I'm in 2 auctions to win Firefox F7 and Astro Wars. Oh, man. Long time ago. Frank Carolyn getting my Ethon Elite Executive tomorrow. Hope the synchronous detector works as well as it did on the Grenic G3 Globe. Traveler. Charity X got out of the pool. Cool. It's pretty much pool weather here too. Max S. Strong says, if current rates of censorship continue, shortwave may rebound. Well, it's a great way to say what you want to say without anybody, well, there could be jamming, but in general, it's... So yeah, it's signed off. These transmissions are never very, very long in general. What else do we have? Same tone. That's weird. I don't know. Erica Child dead. Dr. Gene Scott is on 13845. Yeah, that could be what's going to happen with Brother Stare. We're going to have a dead Brother Stare all over shortwave. The ghost of Brother Stare. Barry Stanholz, what I think of the shortwave radios from Seacrane. They're great radios. I've got a Skywave. I even got the box here. I got the Skywave CC Skywave SSB. And it's an amazing little portable. They're great radios. I do find they're a little expensive, but yeah, they're good radios. They're good radios. Honestly, they're good radios. Esteban, apart from Stranger Things, other movies around with radio contact, which I love, frequency, and phenomenon. And the last characters catch a coded message between two stations. Kuroama Nikolai, I do not know Morse code. Are there any good mobile apps for translating the CW signals from the portable to text? There are many apps and programs that decode Morse code. Remember, the biggest problem with Morse code decoders is when it's a human send code. When it's a computer send code, it is extremely stable. In general, the decoding goes well. But because humans are not always very stable in speed, that's where the apps and the software are kind of delicate. Mark, you cannot talk about how much monetization you get on a channel ever. It's part of the contract with YouTube. Esteban, and frequency, father and son talk through the time past with the future through a very big sunspot. Max says wrong, wants to see my tax returns. Oh man, like Donald Trump. Jim and Robert Milligan. I've always had an eerie thought that one day, after catching a number station, I'd find a random QSL card in the mail that says "Thanks for listening." That would be good. You know, you go to the mailbox and you got this QSL stamped Moscow, Russia on it. And it's like, okay. No stamps, no nothing. It was just dropped there. It's like, okay. Who came around? Never noticed anyone. Yeah, happy Father's Day. Absolutely. To every father. I'm underpaid, says Mike says strong. Absolutely. Absolutely. Keegan has a red cardinal and a feeder outside his kitchen window. Eddie SX, nice to have you here. What's the theme song of the Sunday show on CKUT? It's by a band named Kraftwerk, and the song name is Radioactivity, by a European band called Kraftwerk. Thanks for sharing, Erica Trell. Cool, Roger. Happy you've got the Windows update for Windows 10. KE4BFJ. Charity X, storms popping out of nowhere on the radar. What's your antennas? I know that they did say that we in the weekend especially we might have a few thunderstorms. You know, it's very hot here. It's going to stay in the 90s until at least Monday. PLF Radio. It's been several weeks. I've had trouble to hear medium wave stations. I am located roughly 500 to 2,000 kilometers from the transmitters, except one from 300 kilometers. Usually it's not a problem. Do you mean at the nighttime mostly? Or because remember that summer conditions are very different. First of all, the nights are shorter. You know, you being in France, which is what? Well, France, if I look at the map, France is roughly at the same latitude that Montreal or here. Maybe a little bit more north, but pretty much we're at the same level, pretty much. So of course your days are longer. That means that of course daytime has never been fantastic for medium wave stations. And the shorter nights means that it's not necessarily the best for medium wave reception. Plus, add the fact that it's summer. There's a lot more thunderstorms, so static crashes of all kinds. One of the things you got to remember is that you hear, it doesn't show because I'm hearing some right now. I hear a little bit of static crashes right now. Remember that even on medium wave at nighttime, the static crashes you hear at night might come from 1,000 kilometers away. They are from thunderstorms far away. So there is a seasonal pattern in medium wave station for sure, especially at our latitudes around 45-ish degrees north. Definitely summer is not as good as winter. And the daytime, the sun is higher, so absorption is much higher also with the ionosphere. So it possibly is a seasonal thing. Ryan says, saw an article about financial traders looking at using HF. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I saw that too. HF for faster comms. But I don't think that's viable. Honestly, first of all, for the very small difference. Second of all, even if we don't use jamming, say there's a solar flare and a geomagnetic storm. There'll be 3 days, 2-3 days without that signal getting through before it comes back. I find that to be a little stretched, honestly, as a use of HF. But hey, who knows? MXZ76 says, I wish I could take an RSP1A and a laptop back in time to the early 80s. Oh, man. I talked about it here once. I really wish I could go back in time with the equipment I've got now and see what is on the air. Imagine going back with an RSP1A and RSPDX and a laptop. First of all, everybody's going to look at you saying, what the hell is that? Put that, I put my Acer Nitro 5 next to a Commodore 64. And I was like going to show everything I can do with it, The only thing sad is I won't be able to show anybody the internet. But I mean, imagine going back with, RSP1A, RSPDX, a laptop, and first of all, so much lower noise already. And I mean, wow, imagine all what you could see and everything. Jim and Robert Milling, I saw the movie The Number Station. That's the one with Kevin Costner, right? I think it's Kevin Costner that's in there. I've seen the movie with the lady that goes in and that does the numbers every day. Glenn Zeckman, nice to have you here. Terry DX, Skywave SSB is a fun little radio to play with. Lots of radio in such a little box. Absolutely. It's a great little radio. David, KJ4CMY, to decode Morse code, you need a secret decoder ring. Stephen Clover, nice to have you here, Stephen. And a very hot afternoon in Indiana. Very hot afternoon here, too. Shelly, I don't know what I did, but I was trying to type, and all of a sudden, the video looked like it was refreshing. But instead, one you did last June popped up. It's the Twilight Zone. You probably typed and by accident did we often do that. You touch the control key or whatever, or the alt key, and press another letter, and you just have a functionality pop up. As long as you're not saying you saw one of my shows from 1944. I was like, what? Joe Sombra Newhouse. So let me just says, indeed about CW decode. I tested myself manipulating a CW key and feeding the FLDG to decode these CW signals. If you slow or speed up a little, the decoder fails. Yep. It's a very hard time. Anybody hear the 2 stations that PLF radio? No problem, Barry. Happy to be here. Yeah, it is. It probably is a seasonal thing for sure. Jerry DX says, I seriously think Joel is underpaid. Should have much more views and a lot more subscribers. Just saying. YouTube, start paying this guy. Oh, it's not that bad. Honestly, I can't complain. But yes, I will want more. You know, when my contract expires, I'll look at my agent and say, okay, got millions of views. I need to have more money now. You know, it's not like a TV show. I was actually something I had seen a while back, but I stumbled upon it again while looking at TV, and it was the story of Three's Company from the 70s. That show from the late 70s, early 80s. It was very popular, and they were talking about their salaries. And I mean, we're in 1979, 8, 9. And John Ritter has $1 million per episode. And you look at that and you're like, well, I wish I had $1 million per episode of live shows. William Moser, nice to have you here. Max Headstrong says, when shortwave replaces the internet, I'll be on top. Yep. So people listening and hearing the number of stations, 121622, stuff like that. Cool. What else do we have? PLF radio, you confirm what I thought about medium wave reception. Yeah. 30X, RSPDX can't go wrong. Ron Hicks, imagine Brother Stare overloading SDR. It could. You know, when it's on what WWCR or something. Mike WDX50, nice to have you on board from Northwest Arkansas. Tron ordered an SDR radio, the RSP1A. You mean the RSP1A, Tron? Or what's the RSR1? Oh, yeah, John Cusack. Yes, you're right, Javen. I mixed up the actors. Yes, you're right. I mixed up John Cusack and the other one that I mentioned. Yeah, it's John Cusack, but I have seen the movie. Eric Cottrell says, time travel reminds me of Star Trek episodes. All are yesterdays. I'm a fan of time travel movies. You know, when they're really thought out well. I still remember flipping out over Terminator in 1984. Terminator movie, I still remember, is my brother. My brother's 9 years older than me. My brother came home and said, I've just seen a movie that's so amazing. Terminator, you got to see this. We're going to go and see this weekend. And, you know, I thought, well, you know, okay. We're going to go see a movie. I remember going to the theater with him, and I sat down, and after the movie ended, I was like, whoa, this was so cool. This was so cool. That and I'm having a hard time finding my my movies. Anyways, and time travel movies are something that I just love. William van der Hoeven, nice to have you here, Willem, from the Netherlands. Mike, WDX50. Speaking of Trees Company, I had a Suzanne Summers poster back in my high school days. Well, she was the kind of girl for a teenage poster. Listened to Shortwave and had her near the radio. Were you looking at the radio or at the Suzanne Summers poster? Oh, man. JDX, 1 million per episode would have been 2.2 to 5 million today. Absolutely. It's pretty amazing. Imagine how much money they racked in to give, $1 million to him, and there's like 300,000 for I don't remember the other amounts, but it was crazy. That's when it was at the height of the popularity. Larry Stevens, nice to have you on board from Ohio. Oh, Back to the Future. I love Back to the Future, PLF Radio. Totally love Back to the Future. Is that a scanner under the clock? Yes. It's the Realistic Pro 2006. Tom DXer, yes, I do plan. You know what? I plan to actually do the beginner videos this week. And so many things came up that I did not have time. I really, really am going to do them, and I promise I will do them very soon. Very soon. There's a lot to learn, but it's worth it. I love SDR Uno. It's really, really great. Very complete software for the SDR. So hang in there, Tom DXer. It's coming. And I promise it won't be in 6 months. It'll be very soon. Eric Cottrell, no, I did not. Is it worth watching the Sarah Connor TV series? Charity X liked Escape from New York with Kurt Russell. Levy Burgess, First Contact was another movie in the Star Trek movie franchise that has time travel. Yeah, hey, Dijan, I want to know, where do you write? So I wrote to the Voice of the Islamic Republic of Iran, my reception report. And it bounced back. It came back. The email came back saying, nope, doesn't work. What email do you use, out of curiosity? I used the one in the World Radio TV Handbook 2020. And the email came back. And I tried again, and the email came back, bounced again, saying, nope, can't deliver. So now I printed it out, and I thought, well, maybe I should send it by snail mail. PLF Radio says Quantum Leap. Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. I need to check that out. I need to check these things. The problem is my time. I have so much to do that the time is limited to whatever, you can watch and all. Mike, WDX50, Michael Crichton's timeline book was a good time travel book. Tron RSP1A, cool. You're going to be happy with it. Oh, totally. That's totally that, Jerry DX. Susan Summers thought she could have a lot more, but she was told, the star is John Ritter. It's not you. You girls are there, and yeah, but the star of the show was John Ritter, and he was having a lot more money, and she was mad, and things were really, really bad. I watched it all again, and I mean, things were really bad. I mean, they were getting very jealous of each other and all. Sad. Eric Cottrell had a Linda Ronstadt poster, but Farrah Fawcett posters were the one to have back in the high school days. I can imagine that there must have been some There must have been some guys with some Dolly Parton posters also back then. Matt Reader the Xer says, saw Terminator 2 in the cinema when it came out. If it came out again in the cinemas again, I would go straight away. There's something about watching a movie in the theater. I find it sad that it doesn't exist anymore. There used to be a theater not far from here. We could go and they would play old movies, and it would cost like $2, $2. They even had a special. I remember they had a special. It was like for a $4.95, you had the movie, a popcorn, and a Coca-Cola. So for $5, you had a great movie in the afternoon, and there were only old movies, but there are old movies that are fun to watch on a big screen of a theater. Much better and much more than on just a TV screen. And I think Terminator 2 is one of them. That would be nice for that. I'm going to have to check it out. I remember the Sarah Connor series, but yeah. Keegan, Blues Brothers. Oh, man, Blues Brothers. That's a classic. Oh, man. Okay. Well, I didn't have the French. There was no French. So I wrote to the English. So I wrote to English. So you know what? I wrote to English@parstoday.com. That's where I wrote. It came back saying that there was nobody there. It really came back saying nobody's there, and I tried twice. I don't know if I write to German@parstoday.com and see if they're going to transfer it to somebody else. Or if they're all the same people, maybe. But mine came back, and I'm going to try again tonight, because I still have the full reception report. I'd like to have, and I find it sad because they have this old website and everything. They even have on the website a place where you can actually give your email and give whatever you want to say. So what I thought is I'm going to post my reception report there and do it. And when you click send, it just turned on and on and on and on. And it ended up with an error 404 in the server. I was like, okay, doesn't work. Jerry DX says, take a break. Life's too short. Yeah, I know. I really need to. Hey, Bill. Paul is somewhere outside, I guess, in the summer hot weather, and probably under a tree, just enjoying. So hope that you're not too... they're slowly recovering from Simba. And cheers, my friend. Yeah, Quantum Leap, I remember. Legion says, I wonder what your parents thought of when you received all the mail from Moscow and Eastern Bloc countries in the 80s. Honestly, I don't think they really cared. It's very complicated. My teenage years is a complex thing. So, for the most part, I was pretty much alone in everything that I did. So, I brought up myself. So, I can't even remember a moment where my dad or my mom brought up anything about a radio. Maybe the time I got a letter from Radio Moscow stating when they would read my letter on the air. But Mario the Exer says for $5 I would go there on my days off for sure. I like old films. Oh yeah, it was so great, but I guess they didn't make enough money. There was almost no one there. It's the way it is today. It's like if people want to go to the movies, they want to go see something recent. I think the last few times that I went there that I remember, if we were 10 or 15 and the whole theater was pretty much, so it was coming that it was going to close at some point. They couldn't make the money. But I did find it sad because I thought it was a great idea that for a really cheap price, you see an old movie, you have your popcorn and your cola. I mean, I would go there all the time. And they had they always had three different movies playing. Yeah, of course. I think what turned off, I don't know, people are weird sometimes. What I remember a friend of mine telling me, he was like, well, where do you go there? Because I can see a movie on a big screen. Yeah, but they already played on TV. I don't care if it's already played on TV. It's a theater with a really huge screen, good sound. So when the movie's good, it's fun to be there. And, it's an outing. You're going somewhere. You're doing something else than being at home. I don't know. KMXZ76 says the cancellation of Connolly made him mad. I would say what is sad. And what is sad is when they have series that never end. There should be a rule. If you're not to renew the series next year, end it somehow. Do something that ends it. So that we don't just so she was about to jump from the helicopter when the storm struck, and I'll never know what is going to happen next. Okay. Thank you. Dejan says, when I receive mail from North Korea or Vietnam, my father is always like, mail from the communists again. Better watch out before the police show up. Tom the Extra says, I swore that I would never, ever sign up with Facebook, but I'll make an exception and join your group. I'll send you an email. Okay, let me know who you are. So I'll accept you without any problem. Do some weird fake thing. As long as it looks decent and, you can even create a, I don't want to give bad ideas here, but you can create a fake email to join it and everything. Give us little detail about yourself. That's what I'm going to do, Dijon. I'm going to write to the German service. I'm going to send it tonight, and I'm going to try something. So, the one in World Radio TV Handbook was English at parstoday.com. What I'm going to do, I'm going to try to send it to 3 places: English at Parse Today, French at Parse Today, and German at Parse Today. And I'm going to see what's going to happen with it. Because English comes back. Jerry X says Florida has lots of tiers like that, $2 to $5 shows. I like that. I'd like to have another one. Yeah, Terminator Genesis is not bad. Absolutely. Tron says good luck to Degen as moderator. Cool. Yes, he is now moderator on the Facebook. Okay, cool. Degen has plugs. Now I know somebody that has plugs with the voice of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Oh, man. Hey, Zach. Let's see. Have you here, Zach Liang? I'll be back. Hasta la vista, baby. What else do we have? What else do we have? Joe Sombrania says, after all these doomsdays, after seeing my family again, I just want to make a trip to a beautiful mountains place, carrying a shortwave receiver and HF transmitter for days. Yep. DGen, $5 is darn cheap. Here in Germany, you pay about 10 euros for the film, and a small popcorn costs 5 euros. If you go for a modern movie here, so say that I go to see the latest movie at the theater here, the movie is going to cost about 12 Canadian dollars. Plus, you'll have, if you take popcorn and soda, you're in for a $25 night just for one person. It is very expensive. What else do we have? Yeah, Ian Holmes from passed away. Bobby Burgess, we need to make a list of movies on our Facebook group and try to watch them. One thing that I wanted to do once is do a with a few friends. We would like meet up every Friday night and watch a movie we've never seen, any of us, old or new, but any movie we've never seen. Yeah, for sure. But but even that Mad Radio DX, it was even before that, before people started going crazy with home theater systems and stuff. And even then, it was not popular. So Ian, great sci-fi on shortwave. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy on BBC in the late 70s. Charles Ethan, nice to have you here. Charles, a bit off-topic question. Do you think a discount antenna is a good option for listening on a very wide range of higher frequencies? Well, for VHF, UHF scanner radios and receivers, wideband receivers, discounts are known to be decent at what they do. They're not the best, but they're decent at what they do. Mickey Dalmage, grass is cut. First hot, dry day in a week. Here it's so dry that the grass is all yellow. So, George, just found you on a whim running live and just subscribed. For your information, my dad said I was going to have the FBI watch me when I got stuff from Moscow and Prague. Oh, man. Vianney, I know we are in a shortwave here, but hey, Joel, I have a new VHF UHF radio. Anytone ATD578 UV3 Pro. I haven't been able to plug it into my laptop yet. Wow. It's going to be interesting to see. The USB driver does not work. What a pleasure I have. Oh, man. Maria 330, good afternoon. Dijan, I will write to German Voice of Islamic Republic of Iran and let them pass the email from Gilles Letourneau from Canada. Oh, man. Oh, God. Hey, John, happy Friday. Nice to have you here. So, you're watching the live shortwave show coming to you from the universe. Montreal, Quebec, Canada universe. It's nice to have everybody on board. Let's see here. Any pirate stations right now that by chance would have 2123, so that's not that long ago. 6925 AM. Anybody getting any stations on 6925? Nothing here. 6925 is apparently a pirate station that signed on an ID, but nothing much more. Nothing. It's still early for pirates, early Friday afternoon. That's for sure. That's for sure. For those that joined, once again, I want to say that there's the 2020 Midwinter broadcast for BBC this coming Sunday. BBC Antarctica Winter Solstice broadcast on Sunday, June 21st at 21:30 to 22 UTC. This is a Midwinter broadcast for Antarctica. It is going to be transmitted on 5790 via Wolferton, UK, 6170 from Ascension Islands in the South Atlantic Ocean, 7360 Wolferton, UK, and 9580 from Ascension Islands. Last year, they used 3 of the 4 frequencies they had announced. I think they adjust the last one depending on propagation conditions. So that's coming up this Sunday. If you don't hear it, well, you might want to. You guys in Europe should hear this, the Wolferton ones for sure. Here in North America, maybe 9580, maybe 7360. But if you don't hear anything, maybe the best bet will be to use an SDR online. But that's going to be interesting too. It's always an interesting broadcast every year to listen to. No problem, Ja. You can be there all the time. David, KJ4CMY. How many remember Radio Netherlands Hitchhiker's Guide to Shortwave? Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that. Lee Burkett, thank you very much. Have a good night to you too. Mad Radio DX, thanks for the info show. Would be hopefully be the first time I get it using without using an online SDR. So that's going to be a good one to try. PLF Radio, I am thinking about it. For a special show for it. Last year, if I remember well, I did one. So there's a good chance I might be doing something for the Midwinter Antarctic broadcasts. So stay tuned. I will announce it. I'll see how I feel. But there's a good chance that we might have a special show for the BBC Midwinter this Sunday. So check for that. I might be live. Vianney also know, do you have a special show for June 24th? It's your birthday. So your birthday falls on the same day as the Quebec Quebec Saint-Jean. Man. So when is 24th? Is on Wednesday, right? 21, 22, 23, 24. Yes, there was going to be a show. So you have to join to the late show on Wednesday, the 24th. And we'll be there. Wow, I didn't think about it. It's June 24th, La Saint-Jean, which is the national Quebec, province of Quebec day, basically. So there will be a live show on the 24th. I'll wish you happy birthday. So Deacon says Wolferton will be an easy one here. Yeah, I think it is. They're going to be very, very powerful too. See you, PLF Radio. C'est toujours un plaisir de t'avoir parmi nous. John, have I ever looked to a mobile antenna for shortwave to use in the car? The only times that I did shortwave in a car, I actually had some wire with me. I would just put some wire. but not really for a. Shortwave is getting to a wavelength that's so long that there's not a lot of really. I could see a mini whip. Maybe a mini whip could be one. Could be interesting. A mini whip might be something interesting for a shortwave antenna for a car. William Moser's got a weird signal on 26850 by 25. Comes and goes 10 seconds apart. It could be local interference. If it doesn't vary in signal strength and just does that very, dedicated 10-second thing, it could be a local interference. It could be one of the devices you have, and so on. Glenn says his birthday is on Sunday, so I should be on 365 days a year to make sure I'm on everybody's birthday. Jean-Baptiste Vianney. Oh, man. So you'll finally be 18 and you'll be able to drink alcohol for the first time in your life. What else do we have? William Helms, Jaws was a bigger attraction to me than Star Wars when I was 10 years old. Oh, man. Oh, wow. Evil Knievel. Oh, man. We used to do jumps with our bikes. With the banana seat. Oh, man. Good old days. So what else do we have here? Let me just check it out. Remember, guys, there's a Facebook group that you can join in. Great place to be. Official SWL channel Facebook group. Here's the link. Great place to be for anybody that wants to continue to party after these live shows are over. And I hope that you enjoy the shows. So we're at the 2-hour mark. Frank Ireland says, anxious to compare reception between PL660 and Ethon Executive on both using the MLA30. It's fun to compare radios, honestly. It's one of the things I like a lot. So, hey, we're at the 2-hour mark, or in a few minutes. I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to take it easy for the rest of the evening. And we'll check out. There's a good chance that I'll do the live shows on Sunday. So even though today's show is a little short, there's going to be a live show probably on Sunday, and we'll be able to tune together the Midwinter special broadcast from the BBC. And I think that's gonna be fun. So, pretty good chance I'll be here, anyways. So I think it's gonna be fun to try it together. Mickey Dalman says, driving across the country in my famous 1973 Volkswagen camper van, I had a Sony AN1 active antenna, so I could listen to shortwave while driving across the country. That's nice. That's kind of cool. So, take care, everybody. Stay safe. And we will be live possibly on Sunday, and we'll try to tune in. If I am on Sunday, I probably will be here at 2100 UTC, so 30 minutes before the actual Midwinter broadcast. So you guys in Europe, you'll be able to join in. It won't be too late. So put that in your calendar. And there's a good chance that Sunday, June 21st, the real June 21st, I'll be live at 21 UTC. And, of course, I'll post the links everywhere for sure. Dejan says, enjoy your evening in Montreal. It was a great show. Always nice to have all of you here. And that's I'm going to take it easy for tonight. Do some radio listening and just, have fun. So take care, everybody. See you soon. Don't forget, we are live twice a week in other times, which is Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 0 UTC, and Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, 20 hours UTC. And probably this Sunday, June 21st. Ryan, the new elderly radio channel. I should do that. This is the elderly radio channel where we do old man stuff. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. And see you possibly Sunday for another live show. Bye, everyone.